Okay, finally, example 5 and 6 here. These are a little bit different just for the fact that I have a binomial in the bottom. So, previous examples, that's only one term in the bottom. So, the ones that we're going to tackle right now are a little bit more difficult just because we have two terms in the bottom. So, to rationalize this, we have to think about difference of two squares. Okay? Because I can't just multiply this little part. I have to multiply this entire thing. So if I multiply by just the difference of this, okay, so the only thing that's different is I change this plus sign into a minus. If I think about when I FOIL that, look what happens. So when I FOIL this, I get 4 times 4. 16. 4 times negative 4 radical 3, so that's negative 16 radical 3. Then I do 4 radical 3 times 4, that's positive 16 radical 3. And then this is going to be negative 16 times, now radical 3 times radical 3 is just 3. So what I'm trying to show you here is that these middle terms, if you remember when we did difference of two squares, this middle term is always going to cancel out. And you notice what's left are non-radicals. So that worked out. Our bottom became 16 minus 16 times 3. Okay, now whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So I have to multiply the top by the same thing. But this is much easier because all I have to do is distribute the 5 to both terms. So I get 20 minus 20 radical 3. So I'll just rewrite that over here. So this is 16 minus 48, which is just a negative 32. Now, it may seem like we're completely finished, but I see that I can factor out a 4 out of the 20, both of the 20s, and 4 also goes into negative 32. So if you want to simplify this completely, we need to pull out a 4 out of both of those. So divide both of those by 4. And now that it's out front, I can factor it. Or I can reduce the 4 32nds. So that would become 5 minus 5 radical 3 over, that becomes a 1, that becomes a negative 8. That's completely simplified. And finally, this one's even messier yet. This next one, I'm going to do, again, difference of two squares. So the only thing I'm going to do is change that middle sign. So this one I'm not going to multiply everything out, because if you think about the FOIL, you're going to get 4. 2 times 2, that's 4. Then you're going to get, you just think about this, you're going to get negative 6 radical 2 and positive 6 radical 2. So those two are just going to cancel out. So I can really just kind of concentrate on the f of FOIL, the first, in the last terms. So 3 times a negative 3 is negative 9. And then radical 2 times radical 2 is just 2. So that becomes 4 minus 18. Now in the top, this is a little bit different because I have a binomial up top also. So I have two terms times two terms. What you have to do is you have to FOIL that completely. And that's what I meant by it being messier than the other one, because you're going to end up with 4 terms on the top. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times negative 3 radical 2 is negative 12 radical 2. Then I go to this term and I multiply it. Negative 3 radical 5 times 2 is negative 6 radical 5. And then these two multiplied is going to be positive 9 radical 10. So you notice up top, I really cannot collect any of these. So the best I can do is just pretty much rewrite it. And 4 minus 18 is just negative 14. And there's my final answer. So the numerator ends up with 4 terms in it. Nothing cancels out. And that's it.